I'm sorry, everyone. Okay. It's recording now.
Alrighty. Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I will now begin a roll call. Staff senators, please indicate your attendance by stating aye in the Teams chat or out loud. Alexis Ochoa.
Aye.
Oliver Lozano.
Aye.
Antonio Alvarez.
Aye.
Carlos Ayala. Claudia Portillo. Cristina Rodriguez.
Aye.
Dina Lopez.
Aye.
Dina Guerra.
Aye.
Elizabeth Reyes. Elizabeth Salinas.
Aye.
Estela Garza.
Aye.
Graciela Abrego. Jaime Miranda. Jake Gonzalez. James Martinez. Jeremy Samiyet. Kayla Huentello.
Aye.
Crystal Marroquin. Kayla, I got you. Crystal Chapel.
Aye.
Leslie Orozco. Matthew Monkes.
Aye.
Thank you. Matthew Lerma. Myra Garcia.
Aye. Aye.
Melissa Martinez. Amiraida Torres Avila. Thank you. Omar Nedzelski. Rolando Segovia. Timothy Odoms. And Yesenia Carter. All righty. Mr. President, a quorum has been established.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's staying warm. It's this weather. I don't know what's going on, but I like it, but this is too cold. So welcome to the Staff Senate General Meeting for the month of February 2025. I will go ahead and begin the meeting with new business. Is there a motion to approve the December 2024 and January 2025 meeting minutes?
I move to approve the meeting minutes for December 2024 and January 2025.
Is there a second?
I second.
Who was that?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. All those in favor, please state aye in the Teams chat. All opposed, any abstentions? The December 2024 and January 2025 meeting minutes have been approved. Moving to our first guest speaker for the meeting, we have Lieutenant Brian Carpenter, I'm sorry, for the police department. Lieutenant Carpenter.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody doing this morning? It is a little cold. Here at the PD, we're not real fond of cold like some people are.
Yeah, I think it's most part for everybody in the valley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cold here, but where I'm from, it's 0 degrees. So
where are you from?
I'm North Texas.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. So whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Carpenter, as previously mentioned, and I'm here to talk to you about the spring break no refusal event that will be occurring at our campus that will be in collaboration with the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It'll take place Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 at the Plains Capital Bank Theater at the Student Union in the Edinburgh campus. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And during that time, there will be a presentation by When Sean Speaks, which is an organization dedicated to sharing the powerful story of Sean Carter, who is a survivor of a life-altering drunk driving crash, highlighting the impact of alcohol and the choices that change our lives. After the presentation, there will be a press conference where there will be a Q&A with the district attorney, Mr. Terry Palacios, and the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving, otherwise known as MAD. The event will be emceed by UTRGV Assistant Chief of Police Van Slusser, and the students who attend the event will be eligible to enter for a giveaway for the possibility to win a load of UTRGV swag. With that being said, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Could you possibly give more information of no refusal? Like, what does that entail?
Yes, so no refusal weekend is, or no refusal is, there are certain times that have been, this has been done, and usually it's during Memorial Day, or there was one just this Christmas. And what no refusal means is if you operate a vehicle and you're suspected of driving while intoxicated, you will be asked to provide a sample of your breath. If you say no, there are judges on call that will provide a warrant to the officer where we will get a blood specimen, and there's no saying no. It's going to happen whether you want to agree or not. And if you are found to be over the legal limit, you will be arrested.
And this no refusal will be for the whole week of spring break?
Yes.
Okay. And is it for the whole Rio Grande Valley or South
Yes.
Padre Island? Okay.
It's well, I don't want to give you wrong information. The flyer that you had up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. It'll be good that people attend. I'm just curious because, I have seen recently for some reason, especially in the Edinburgh area, there's been a lot of vehicle accidents.
Yes.
Especially at night. In your opinion, can you explain, like, in your opinion, why so many all of a sudden there's been a lot of accidents?
I mean, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I mean, unfortunately, there is a high number of accidents that are caused by alcohol. They're alcohol-induced accidents, and that is a big issue not only here but in the state of Texas. And Hidalgo County is one of the counties around here, unlike Cameron County, which they have the no refusals all the time. If you're suspected of driving while intoxicated in Cameron County, they can get a blood draw at any time if they suspect it. Hidalgo County is different. But there are more counties that are moving towards always being no refusal. If you are suspected of driving while intoxicated, they're going to draw a specimen. It is an unfortunate thing that we have to deal with, and that's why we're trying to spread information on the safety of not driving. That's why Uber and all those other things are so important, and we want to give all the information we can to our campus community.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick your brain. So I'm kind of being like devil's advocate here. So I know there's a limit, an alcohol limit. So is it safe to say that, one glass of wine is okay, like one beer is okay, or is it no alcohol?
Not say that, because everybody's tolerance is different.
Okay.
And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'1", probably 240. So if I have 3 beers, I'll probably be good. I still may be over the legal limit, though. That's the thing.
Okay.
I can be over the legal limit, which is 0.08, and still I can be intoxicated, but still be okay. Other people can be at 0.02 after 3 drinks of wine and still be legal, but act completely, completely intoxicated. So
Right.
it's all about a person's tolerance, really.
Okay. Okay. So are you trying so it's going to be the whole valley, but the main focus is, spring breakers at the island. Um,
No, it's for here because at the island it's always going to be.
Oh yeah. So we work with a lot of students. We have a lot of student employees. What's the one thing that you would want maybe for us to let them know or inform them about the no refusal that's going to be happening during spring break?
I think it is important that if the students or staff, if they're going to be drinking alcohol, whether it's one drink or a lot more, it's important to have somebody on standby that's not going to be drinking to drive. If there is nobody, that is when you either call a friend or make other arrangements with one of the driving companies around. It's better to be safe than sorry, because I'm sure everybody here either has been directly impacted or knows somebody that has been impacted by somebody that's been a victim of drunk driving, or they've been a victim themselves.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions for Lieutenant Carpenter? Please put them in the chat or unmute yourself. I think they're scared.
The Q&A, is that going to be for District Attorney Terry Palacios, or who's asking the questions?
It'll be the Q&A with the audience towards either Terry or Mad.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Amanda Quintanilla with the Police Department Victim Service Specialist. So I work closely with Lieutenant Carpenter, and this is a really big deal because again, it doesn't just affect our students; it does affect everybody. And Mr. Palacios has been very gracious, and he's really wanted to work with our university. So he wants the Q&A. So whether we're the adults or we're the students, please feel free. Hopefully you all will be able to attend and ask any questions. If you have students, have them attend as well. That's a perfect opportunity to ask questions to him or other law enforcement officers that are going to also be attending, and also their representative from Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Thank you for that, Amanda. So what's the difference between DUI and DWI?
DUI is not, you can be intoxicated. This is hard to explain. It's easy to explain to other officers. Okay, so DUI, you can be DUI with other things other than just alcohol. It's other intoxicants such as drugs or stuff like that. And then if you are, that's the best way to explain it without getting confusing, because it can be rather confusing.
Okay. There is also another question. I don't know if we want to have another meeting about this. It's about Border Patrol and ICE being presented on campus. I know right now we're talking about the no refusal, but if you would like, we can have the campus PD on another meeting to discuss this, a little bit more appropriate, so you have enough time to, gather your thoughts on the concerns that students may have regarding Border Patrol and ICE being present on campus. So I just want to throw that out there. If you want to have another meeting or answer it now, we'll be happy to open to either or.
That would have to be a whole different meeting.
Okay, sounds good. So
Rolando, this is Nicole. There's an email I think that went out. I'm not sure if it came from legal, Karen Adams. But there's a website that has a lot of Q&A, FAQs around that. So I can put that in the chat. There's a link to that. If you don't have it, I can put it there. I just need to look it up.
Okay. Yes, Nicole, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Also, is this event open to the public or is just the UTRGV community?
It's open to the public.
Okay, awesome. There's a question. Has there been an incidence of DWI and DUI incidents after COVID? Do you see an increase after COVID?
It pretty much the numbers have stayed the same.
Okay.
There's no fluctuation. COVID didn't cause people. I mean, during COVID, I think people drank even more because they were stuck at home. But I think the numbers have pretty much stayed the same throughout. And unfortunately, the alcohol business will never slow down. I think it just keeps growing and growing, and it's getting easier for people to get access to alcohol. And the alcohol now is not what it used to be. So there's all kinds of weird drinks out there with different concentration levels. So, I mean, and you know, kids nowadays, we were all young once. We know how that goes. I mean,
Yeah, I don't want to incriminate myself, so I'm just gonna stay quiet.
statute of limitations, you're good. But you know, like I mentioned earlier, this is opportunity to speak to not only our campus community, but anybody else that would like to join, just to spread some awareness and let everybody know that if you do drink and drive, your actions can cause, you know, somebody to lose their life and your own as well. So
Is there any other questions for Lieutenant Carpenter? All right. Well, thank you so much both for attending Staff Senate meeting. We really do appreciate this and all the work that you do for our university and keeping us safe. So thank you so much. And again, if you want to have another meeting, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to. Oh, do you have a question, Beto? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
all right, thank you.
Moving right along, our next presenter is Dr. Carlos Martinez Mendez from the School of Medicine.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Dr. Carlos or CJ Martinez Menendez. I am a brand new faculty with the School of Medicine. I've been here for about 3 months, and I am running a neurology clinic at the Institute of Neurosciences in Harlingen. I was asked to give this presentation to just give a little bit more info as to what I'm doing down here in the Valley, what the scope of my practice is, and how I seek to help out the greater RGV community.
Awesome. Welcome to UTRGV. Well, welcome to UTRGV and the Rio Grande Valley.
Thank you.
And let's go right ahead.
Sorry. So let me. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me one second. Are y'all able to see the slideshow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Just give me one. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm running a neurology clinic currently in Harlingen at the Institute of Neurosciences, which is basically right next door to the medical school Harlingen campus and the VA medical campus. I generally have clinic there. Hold clinic there Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, although occasionally I will do Tuesdays as well. Occasionally I'll have to alternate days depending on if meetings with regards to other responsibilities come up. In addition to patient care, I also do some investigative work, some research. So if some of y'all may or may not know, UTRGV Health is basically is coordinating this endeavor with UT Health San Antonio to they've obtained a grant from been accepted by the National Institute of Aging to start this initiative to create an Alzheimer's center for South Texas. And so that having this Alzheimer's center would enable us not only to improve access to Alzheimer's care, but would also enable us to get more research done, particularly with the population here in the Valley. So we're also trying to develop this place as a clinical as a site for trial treatments for new upcoming medications for Alzheimer's and for other neurologic diseases. As mentioned, I am a faculty with the School of Medicine. We're in the process of trying to start a neurology residency program. We're still trying to consolidate a partnership with the hospital system. Currently, we're trying to do so with the HCA hospitals in.
Normally, I wouldn't do what I did, but because the way he did it, like,
Sorry.
we stopped that one.
Sorry. So we're trying to create a partnership right now with the HCA hospitals in Brownsville and Valley Regional in Brownsville and Rio Grande Regional in McAllen. In my clinic, I have med students, psychiatry residents, and internal medicine residents rotating with me. And then I'm also a facilitator for the problem-based learning sessions for the medical school. In terms of community engagement, trying to increase awareness of neurodegenerative diseases here in the Rio Grande Valley. That we actually have an unusually high incidence of certain neurodegenerative diseases, more so than other parts of the country. And trying to facilitate coordination of resources and personnel so that our patients can get excellent high standard quality of care, just as they would if they were, let's say, living in Houston or San Antonio or Austin and had access to a comprehensive academic medical center. So this is just a short list of my credentials when I graduated from med school, residency. I did a special fellowship training in cognitive disorders, which I graduated from last year. And this is kind of this is my mission, is that I'm trying to give comprehensive, high standard, whole person care for anyone with a neurologic disease here in South Texas. And when I say a whole person, remember, patients are people. I'm dealing with people. I'm trying to heal people, not just merely diseases. And so understanding that when I'm trying to help care for somebody that has a neurologic disease is also trying to provide whatever sort of care and healing to them as a person is something that I think is very invaluable. And this is, I think, especially something that is of importance here in RGV. As I alluded to, there is an increased prevalence of certain neurodegenerative diseases, Parkinson's disease in part, for one in particular, in the Valley compared to even other parts of the state or the country. I think I learned actually earlier this week, I believe in Stark County, so like Rio Grande City, I think 1 in 4 adults end up developing dementia. I don't know what are the exact statistics for Cameron or Hidalgo counties, but there's an unusually high prevalence of certain neurologic diseases here in the Valley, and there's decreased access to care. There's a shortage of a lot of healthcare providers in general, but especially neurologists. And it's not only access to doctors, but also access to other healthcare personnel and access to even certain types of medications. So, for example, one of the issues that I have to come up with is certain medications that I'm accustomed to prescribing for certain patients because of either lack of either issues with insurance access or issues with certain medications having to some medications need to be housed at certain specialty pharmacies, which may or may not be present in the Valley. These are also things that can limit access of care to getting the quality treatment that our patients deserve, and lack of that coordination of care. Medical care, and especially neurologic, especially with the type of conditions I deal with, it's very much a team sport. I use the assistance a lot of people like and the consultation a lot of people like physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, and a lot of times trying to find the appropriate ones also for patient travel logistics, and the ones who offer the type of therapies that I feel like are particularly suited for what each patient would need, because what each patient needs in terms of therapeutic interventions is going to be slightly different. And then the fact that geographic isolation from major medical centers. So we are close to 4 hours from San Antonio, between 4.5 and 5 hours from Houston. For me in Harlingen specifically, about close to 4 hours to San Antonio, close to 5 hours to Houston. So a lot of the patients here in the Valley, it's difficult to travel to places to find the specialists that you need to find for your particular disease. And then the other issue is that there's big problem with what I would call two-tiered care. So basically, it's almost like you have the haves and the have-nots. People who do have access to the resources, whether it's financially, whether it's access to travel, whether it's, again, if you live in a place like Houston or Austin or San Antonio versus living here in the Valley, and the care that you're basically the availability of treatments is much more extensive than for other people who don't have that same access. And so basically the concern is that certain patients, even with the same disease, are going to get one quality of treatment versus another. And this is something that I would like to help to fix. So what I see in clinic, I see movement disorder, see a variety of neurologic diseases. I see movement disorders like Parkinson's, people with balance and coordination disorders. I see people with cognitive disorders, memory loss. So think of things like Alzheimer's, all the different types of dementias. I see a lot of migraine patients. I'll see seizure patients, TBI and concussion patients. I'll see stroke people who have had strokes and have gone to the hospital for strokes. I will follow up with them in clinic. And then these are just some of the other neurologic disorders that I'm seeing. Some of these have asterisks because there are certain caveats to some of these in terms of what I'm going to require from other providers to refer to me, and certain limitations that I may be able to provide in terms of caring for patients with certain conditions. So just kind of an expectation when patients do arrive, if somebody's coming in because of, let's say, memory loss or cognitive decline or some sort of impairment in your regular activities of daily living, like you need to come to the clinic with a loved one. I cannot stress this enough. It's invaluable what when I have a patient with Alzheimer's, the information that his wife or her husband bring to me and what I'm able to discern based on what that loved one or caregiver tells me. A lot of times with also for certain problems, I may have you fill out a questionnaire before I actually see you in the patient room. And like for one example, for people with dementia, I'll often have the caregiver fill out a caregiver burden questionnaire, just so I know what is their stress of caring for their loved one with dementia. A couple of caveats: I do not do EMGs and nerve conduction studies. I am not doing Botox or nerve blocks at this time. And if somebody has, let's say an epilepsy patient that it's on multiple seizure medications and they're still having seizures, it's probably best that they see an epilepsy specialist. I realize that's going to be a bit harder to get done because a lot of times you would have to refer to an epilepsy center, let's say in San Antonio or Houston. You can still refer to me, especially if they don't already have a neurologist. I'd be happy to see them, and I can make that decision if that person really merits going to an epilepsy center or not. But I'm probably not the best person to be caring. There's probably people that are better than me taking care of those types of patients. Upcoming developments, I am trying to set up a procedure clinic this spring. It would include things like basically to do things like spinal taps and skin biopsies for certain neurodegenerative diseases. This is something I'd be happy to educate the physicians in our community more about. And same thing with Botox for migraines. Again, I'm not doing this right now. And I still, for people with spasticity, I probably will continue to hold off on doing those just because I don't feel that I have the particular competency in doing that specifically. And then some of y'all may have heard in the news in the last year and a half, there's been 2 IV treatments that have been approved for people with Alzheimer's. Now, it's a couple of caveats to this. As I mentioned, it's an IV treatment, so it's something that you have to go to a center and periodically, either every 2 weeks to a month, to obtain. And it only works for a limited patient population. it only works for certain people with Alzheimer's. Not everybody with Alzheimer's, actually probably so far, the majority of Alzheimer's patients that I've had come to my clinic do not qualify for this treatment, unfortunately. But I'm trying to set up the capacity in our center to be able to develop this, to be able to administer this. And this also includes increased access to diagnostic studies. For example, at our institution, we have a PET scanner, but we don't have a PET tech. So part of the issue is not only the lack of resources, but also being able to recruit personnel. One of the things when it comes to like other providers, other physicians, if they're trying to refer a patient to me, their note should discuss the reason why you are referring to me or consulting me. And if you have a specific question for me, like, please let me know. It helps me better manage patient expectations, especially for those people who have chronic or degenerative diseases in which there is no cure for. So at a lot of times, sometimes people will refer somebody who's in the last stages of Alzheimer's and expect that I'm going to have a magic cure for their memory loss. And it doesn't work like that. I can do more for the patients the earlier in a disease course you can get them in to see me. And I actually have a link here as to kind of what some of the things that I request from people trying to refer patients to me. So one of the things, as I mentioned, I'm trying to increase awareness about what can be done about cognitive decline. I'm happy to discuss this with doctors and nurses in the community. And it, again, includes like which Alzheimer's patients qualify for some of these new treatments, and then also what we can do to best help patients that don't qualify for those treatments. And then giving talks to retirement communities and local health plans. Last week I gave a talk to the Golden Palms retirement community in Harlingen. They're trying to start like a dementia, an Alzheimer's and a Parkinson's support group, I think to meet monthly. And so I gave a talk to them last week, and that's something I'm probably going to start doing more of. Just regular contact with, when it comes to, I do like to maintain regular contact with the other doctors that are helping to care for the patient. And things that I would like to know for those of y'all that are referring patients to, for those of y'all physicians that are referring patients to me, are just kind of things like, if I decide I want to order labs, do you want me to just let you know so you can order them yourself versus me ordering them myself, just so we can have, like I said, this is a team sport. And so I do encourage that, and we're all in the same business of caring for the patient. Generally with imaging, so particularly with MRIs, I prefer ordering those myself because we have an MRI in our facility. And so these are just, if any of you have any sort of questions, feel free to ask. Also, this is, here's my contacts. I have my email and then work, and I put my phone numbers in there and fax number if y'all need to wish to get a hold of me.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Martinez Mendez. I do have a question. In your opinion, why is neural disease so high here in the Rio Grande Valley than elsewhere, in your opinion?
Good question. So I think there's probably multiple causes. I think so. For one, with Parkinson's, there's been increased research that suggesting a link between pesticide use and further and increased risk of developing Parkinson's. And obviously the RGV being such a productive agricultural region within the state and the country, it's thought that just the amount of pesticide exposure that there's been down here might possibly be contributing to the increased risk of Parkinson's. There's also some suspicion that there was apparently back in the day an Agent Orange processing plant in McAllen. I don't know if you're all aware, Agent Orange was a chemical that the U.S. military used to drop over jungles in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And there's some link that exposure to this agent, it's still very questionable, might have caused an increased risk of developing Parkinson's. Also, with the prevalence of diabetes and other vascular risk factors in the valley, we also think that's led to an increased risk of what we call vascular causes of dementia.
Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know about that, about the pesticide. It's very interesting. Do you foresee expanding your study for younger population?
Good question. So right now I'm seeing in my practice, I am seeing patients of all, well, I should say 18 and up. Generally speaking, like my migraine patients are younger than, for example, my Alzheimer's patients, just because of the nature of the disease. So like a lot of my people who come in for migraines, a lot of them are like in their 20s and 30s versus the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients tend to be 60 and older.
Okay. Is there any recommendations of preventative or delay of Alzheimer's or any neuro diseases? Is there any recommendations like what we can do to delay the process of starting Alzheimer's or knowing how Alzheimer's will be triggered?
Sure. So I would say probably the best thing that you can do, and none of this there's nothing, at least that we've determined as of now, to be completely 100% foolproof from developing Alzheimer's, especially if you already have certain risks for it. However, there are definitely several lifestyle modifications that you can do to minimize your risk of developing Alzheimer's in the future. I would say probably the most important thing, and if I cannot stress this enough, is exercise, exercise, exercise. In the saying, motion is lotion. Like some work, do some sort of exercise, physical activity. I mean, I would say most days out of I would say like at least like 5 days out of the week. And it doesn't have to be that you're training for it doesn't have to be that you're training for a 10K or a marathon, or that you're powerlifting for some bodybuilding competition. No, it doesn't have to be anything that intense. Even just like mild to moderate intensity exercise, 20 to 30 minutes a day. That's probably the single best lifestyle intervention you can do. It's shown to increase, not only does it help to increase blood flow to the brain, it also suggests that it secretes that working out secretes certain chemicals in the brain that facilitate the strengthening of connections within the brain cells. So like so like motion is lotion. That's probably like the number one thing I would say is the most important. The other thing I would say is in terms of diet, trying to eat food, things like lean meat. So things like chicken, fish, especially if it's grilled, beans, legumes, nuts, leafy green vegetables, and trying to avoid things like processed sugars, and foods that are extremely high on salt. Those are probably the main things.
Is there any supplements or vitamins that we are recommended, or there's
So
not enough research?
I do recommend taking and I would say especially as you get older, I do recommend taking B vitamins, and also vitamin D. Um, so a lot of the B vitamins, some of them have been linked to cognitive to brain decline if they're low, if there's not enough of them. And as you get older, you have decreased ability to absorb those vitamins through your diet alone. So I do increase I do recommend supplementation. Do suggest supplementation. Yes.
So would you recommend vitamin B complex? Would that be better?
A B complex is fine. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you also see patients with Alzheimer in their family history, like just to be more any concerns with memory loss? Would you be able to see those patients?
Oh yes, absolutely. Those are actually the patients that I encourage those. I encourage people like that to see me. If one of the things that I would say, if let's say if your dad had Alzheimer's, if your dad or your mom, you had like a parent or a sibling that had Alzheimer's, you should probably start thinking about getting evaluated maybe 10 to 15 years before younger than the age in which you notice symptoms in that person. So like let's say if your dad had Alzheimer's and you started noticing that he was losing his memory around age 70, you should probably seek evaluation between 55 and 60 years of age.
Going back to the supplements, what was your thoughts on B12 shots?
So generally the B12 shots, I don't prescribe those unless I know that somebody is truly deficient in vitamin B12, and I've tried to like that we've tried oral supplementation first and it hasn't worked, then I will go to B12 shots. But generally for anything, I try to see what you can do in terms of oral supplements before we resort to shots.
Okay. Okay. Another question. If you suffer a brain injury, such as a concussion, and you have a family history of Alzheimer's, will that increase your chances for your chances of brain disorders?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes. Okay. What tests or evaluations is recommended?
So generally, what I would depending on who you're seeing first, if you're seeing like let's say your primary doctor first, he may do like a short kind of screening quiz, and if there's some concerns, he may just send you to me. And when you see me in clinic, I'll probably do a slightly more extensive, again, kind of series of questioning. There are some newer blood tests that are that have actually been developed some of them have only been approved in the past year, that can suggest an increased risk for Alzheimer's. And again, this is something that there's not a lot of awareness of, not only in the community, but amongst most physicians, and I would argue even a lot of neurologists, that there's still not awareness of that there's some new blood tests out. And that's something that I would probably order if you were coming into my clinic and I had an increased suspicion that you could be developing Alzheimer's.
Okay. Does your office support or offer counseling for those families who have a loved one who has Alzheimer's, or suggest where they can get support while handling or taking care of a loved one who has Alzheimer's?
Good question. At this time, no. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody in clinic that can give a more extensive support or counseling. That's actually one of those things that one of my projects that I'm trying to help develop is that I want to develop an interdisciplinary care team that would consist of me and a psychologist, therapists, and counselors, clinical social workers, case managers that would be able to, again, with everybody combined, help to coordinate like the type of care that that our patients need. I'm in the process of trying to also find all the resources that are available here in RGV for patient in terms of counseling and things of that sort, for patients who have Alzheimer's and/or their loved ones and caregivers. It is, again, it's one of those things that I'm doing, but I'm far from having accomplished my goal. It is, again, one of the uphill battles is just kind of the disconnection of resources that there are around here that, when coordinated, would greatly benefit our patients. And that's something that I'm trying to improve.
So what would you recommend, or what would you suggest if someone is taking care of a loved one who does have Alzheimer's? What is one thing that you would recommend them they do or do research on to help them with taking care of that loved one?
Well, one is, if you see somebody like me in clinic, I'll also give my recommendations of what I think could be done going forward. It's going to differ from patient to every patient is different, and it's gonna differ from patient to patient. I try to and I'll try to point you to, if there are certain resources available that are closer to your area. Let's say if you're in Edinburgh versus Brownsville, try to also point you in that way in terms of community resources. Also, the Alzheimer's Association has resources that you can look up on their website. I'm also trying to make those readily available in our clinic for our patients to access more directly.
Okay. Do you think there should be a discussion with the physician and law enforcement to distinguish between intoxication versus Alzheimer's?
That would actually not be a bad idea actually to do so. There's yeah, I mean I think that would actually be a good idea.
Because I know with law enforcement, they want to have counselors who law enforcement can contact for mental health individuals who are having an episode. But this is really also a good idea to have law enforcement to distinguish between intoxication and someone who's suffering an episode of Alzheimer's. Okay. Is there any other questions for Dr. Martinez Mendez? Well, thank you so much for all this information. It was very eye-opening. Again, at any time you want to come back to Staff Senate to speak on anything, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to have you back on this platform to discuss.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Guys.
Our next speaker is Marco Moreno from Human Resources.
Hi, so thank you, Rolando. Yeah, my name is Marco Moreno, your friendly organizational development specialist. I'm here. I'm here to briefly talk to you about a specific program, right? I don't want to spoil it. You probably already know, but I want to try to share my screen first. So I'm trying to make it a suspense. So, so hopefully you can see my screen, right? Where you see mentoring you. All right,
yes.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, it's great to be here and be able to, follow behind these two good people that we just saw, right? I feel they're leading impactful activities for our community, whether by keeping us safe, right, or healthy. So I just want to take a quick time to just thank both Lieutenant Carpenter and Dr. Martinez for their dedication and leadership, right, in leading the efforts for our community. On that note, I'm here to talk to you briefly about mentoring you, as you can see in your screens. So what is mentoring you? You might be asking yourself. Well, mentoring you is all about how we grow as a leader, no matter what stage of our leadership journey that you're in. Mentoring you is for you. So yes, it is a mentoring program, but the focus about this program is not specifically about mastering a specific subject or topic. It's more about developing leadership skills that can apply across the board in your current role, in your future roles, and even just in life in general. I strongly believe that what makes this program special is that it connects mentors and mentees from across different departments in our university. So you get to learn from a wide range of experiences and perspectives, right? So you might be working in student success and you might be able to learn from somebody working in a whole other division, maybe School of Medicine. Who knows, right? Who you get paired with. Ultimately, the goal of mentoring you is to build strong and meaningful relationships, being able to gain practical leadership skills that are going to help you succeed, and to collaborate more effectively across the university. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to build a strong leadership community at UTRGV, right? We want to develop talent and keep it here at UTRGV. On that vein, if you are an assistant leader and you're interested in taking your leadership skills to the next level, I highly encourage you to apply as a mentor and leave a positive, lasting impression on your mentee. On the other hand, if you're a new leader or you're still kind of learning the ropes, right, of leadership and all those kind of things, I invite you to apply to the program as well, right? This is the second iteration of this program. We ran this last year. It was fairly successful, and it's only going to get better. So we highly encourage you to apply. You see, we have the QR codes there on your slides, right? So if you want to apply as a mentee, you can scan it there. I'm also going to attach a flyer that I just put here in the chat. But you can also use the QR codes to either apply as a mentor or mentee. Now, if for some reason, because you might be seeing this in Messenger or whatnot, maybe you got the email about it. But if for some reason you have been contemplating applying, but there has been some sort of hesitation, well, I just ask that you remember that real growth happens outside of our comfort zone. Right. So if you're ready to take the next step, I highly encourage you to apply. Again, applications are open. They're gonna close February 26th, so that's 6 days from now, right? So we got about a week or so. So you can either apply through the email that was sent, right? You might have got that last week. You can either go through Messenger and you see our post there, or scan this QR code, or use the flyer that I just put in the chat, right? I mean, you have many options on how to apply. So again, this is one of those things that I highly encourage you to apply to. Just briefly want to talk about the requirements, right? Because a lot of the times there's confusion or who can apply or whatnot. Well, if you're a mentor, the main requirements, I mean, there's several, right? And you can see those in the flyer. But the main requirement is to have at least 2 years of leadership experience, right? If you have more, great. The goal is to, if you're going to be mentoring somebody, that you're able to impart your knowledge. And the other thing, of course, is that you're in good standing, right? We need to make sure that everybody's in good standing. One thing to expect if you do commit to this is that at a minimum, you will meet with your mentor or mentee at least 6 times, right? So you have to make a commitment to meet 6 times. It could be for an hour. And an extra 4 program meetings, right? So there'll be a pre-program meeting basically, and then we'll have our kickoff, our midpoint, and end of program meetings, which will last about an hour. So a total of 10 hours commitment at a minimum, right? Again, keyword here is minimum. If you want to meet with your mentor or mentee more, right, on a weekly basis for longer, we highly encourage that as well. On the other hand, for mentees, the requirement mainly is that you're in a leadership role, right? Whether you're supervising, full-time staff, part-time staff, even if you just have a whole bunch of, student workers, that's fine. If you're in a leadership role, you definitely meet the requirements for this. Also have to be in good standing. And then, of course, the expectation on the meeting requirements are the same. So again, a lot of good stuff that are coming up here. We have a lot of good mentees and mentors that have applied that are really motivated and looking forward to this. And we want to welcome you to apply to this and be part of, the second iteration of the program. But with that, that was my piece, right? I wanted to be able to come in here and just kind of talk about that a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm open here for any questions, any concerns. If not, thank you, Rolando, again for giving the spotlight here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for this information. So in your opinion, what benefits have you seen after the first run of this program?
Yeah, definitely, and this is from feedback that we got from some people. On the mentor side, right? For them, it was like, wow, I went in as a mentor, expecting that I was going to be, mentoring or teaching or whatever, right? New stuff. But one of the key things that a lot of mentors mention is that they learned a lot from their mentees as well, right? Especially because they were from like a different division. Maybe, one was from IT, the other one worked in student success. So they are like, well, they're kind of learning from each other, not just on the leadership aspects, but how their own departments work and how, one department, kind of affects the other and so on, right? Depending. From the mentee side, I have heard nothing but good things, right? In our survey that we ran, we basically asked, is this a mentoring relationship that you plan to continue long term? 100% say yes, right? So it was definitely impactful. I know a couple that when they started, right, they were doing great, and now they moved up to the next step in their career, right? Whether that was mentoring or not, I don't know, but they got a little bit of guidance, right? So who knows, what it holds for you. So, but yeah, there's definitely a good impact for sure.
Okay. How many mentors do you have or have had in the program?
Currently or before?
Before.
Before, it was about, let's say 30 or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're trying to get back to that number, right? Yeah, it was like close to 30. And then of
How
course
many
30 mentees.
Awesome. How many applicants have you received in the first cohort, and how many were accepted?
So applicants, we definitely had like mentors, we had like 40 plus, and for mentees, I think we had like close to 50, right? So based on, you know, the matching, right? Because there's on the form that you'll see, there's a specific criteria that you can put. You want to be matched with, you know, a specific type of leader or mentee, right? Do you want it to be in your division, so on? So based on the matching, we ended up with the 30 and 30, right? And then of course, you know, we had applicants, but not everybody met the requirements and so on. But yeah.
Is there a guide topic framework for mentor mentees?
What do you mean? A guided topic?
Yeah.
Kind of like yeah, actually. So the pre-meeting, right, that we would have is going to be separate between the mentor and mentees, right? So it'll be separate trainings kind of thing. Call it a training, right? It's not really, but it's more to set up the framework for that, right? Like, what can you expect from this? What can you talk to your mentor or mentee about? You know, kind of provide some foundation. Now, monthly, we do provide specific topics that you could focus on with your mentor and mentee, right? Those could be from, and usually we focus on the leadership competency model, right? So whether that be talent development, communication, whatever it might be, right? Critical thinking, etc. We do put resources out there, right? We provide some information and provide either videos, handouts, you know, any type of trainings on Percipio, those kind of things. By the way, this is all provided through a closed Teams team, right? That we create specifically for mentoring you. So yeah, good question.
Okay. Are the meetings, the times, are they decided between the mentor and mentee, or is there this a distinguished schedule?
No, they're decided between the mentor and mentee, right? As long as you hit the minimum of 6, preferably at least once a month, right? That you meet. The duration of the program is 6 months. So at least if you meet once a month, you know, you'll hit the mark there. But again, that's in between the mentor and the mentee when they meet, where they meet, if they want to meet in person or, you know, virtual and so on. So that's between them as long as they meet.
And that's working hours or after hours?
Preferably working hours, but you know, that's on them. However they want to work that out. You know, we're all exempt employees, so over the ones that are, they can do as they wish.
Okay. Awesome. Is there any other questions for Marco? Okay. Where can they reach you out if they have questions on this program?
Yeah. So definitely, I'll put it here in the chat. They can either reach me directly. So marco.moreno04 at utrgv.edu, or they can also email our OD inbox, right? And I'll put those here, which is just orgdevelopment at utrgv.edu. Yeah, any questions, or you can even just send me a Teams message, right? If you prefer, I'm completely fine with that. If anything, I prefer it's a lot quicker. I'm all about communication and I prefer to communicate quickly. So, but either through email or just message me directly if you have any questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this information. It was very helpful, and I hope people do sign up. It sounds like a great program, and I
Yeah,
hope it
definitely is.
continues in the future. So thank you so much for presenting.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando.
Absolutely. Moving on to next part of our agenda is the committee reports. I will hand it over to Communications Committee with the chair, Jeremy Samanuel.
Hey everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I'm on my way back from Austin right now. There really isn't too much updates as far as updates for social media. In respect to how well this session went, it's a reminder of what a great marketing and great relationships and relationship building is in respect to, you know, supporting staff, individuals who work with staff members. So if you are a subject matter expert, or if someone in your department is a subject matter expert and you'd like to present at a staff senate meeting, we actually have a wonderful general request form. and a marketing form should you have anything that you want to share, right, and help us disseminate out to our staff community. And so it is our hope that you're able to connect with us on our socials, use the staff, present at a staff senate general meeting request form, or again, any one of our other forms that we have on our website. And with that said, we do have upcoming programs and events, and we cannot wait to share them with you. But we would hope that you all are following us on social media and that you participate in what's coming up. In respect to that, I am done with the committee report, and we can move on to Constitution and Elections Committee. So I'm not sure who the person is. I apologize.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Alexis Ochoa. I'll be speaking on behalf of Yesenia Carter, who's the chair, and then I am the co-chair for the Constitution and Elections Committee. So the Constitution and Elections Committee is going to meet this coming week to start planning the election process, being that the 2025 Staff Senate elections is coming up after spring break. We're going to discuss the roles needed for the process within our committee. In case you're not familiar, our committee identifies eligible staff members and conducts the nomination and election process. We look forward to using Qualtrics, which is a platform for creating surveys. So please be on the lookout for those emails and be sure to nominate and vote for individuals in your respective divisions. If you have any questions regarding the election process and would like to know exactly who qualifies and how members of our Vaquero community are selected, you can speak with me or with Yesenia Carter. So thank you very much for your time. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Omar Nadzelski with the Business Process and Staff Support Committee.
Thank you, Alexis. Good morning, everybody. My name is Omar Nadzelski. I'm the chair of the Business Processes and Staff Support Committee. Our committee report, we have 3 new feedback submissions. The first one is an anonymous submission as a suggestion or a comment only. The submitter suggests an increase in traffic enforcement in Zone 3 parking lots to ensure only those with valid permits occupy those spaces. This suggestion aims to reduce crowding caused by unauthorized vehicles, making more spots available for those with valid permits. We know of a system recently implemented that uses cameras to verify those license plates on the vehicles against what is reported in the parking portal online to ensure that they have valid permits. So this system is helping with parking enforcement, but ultimately we know that it won't stop people from parking there in the incorrect zone. So the committee will share this suggestion with the Parking and Transportation Department. The next submission from Mr. Lozano on behalf of another staff member regarding the possibility of using educational activity leave for UTRGV staff who are participating in commencement as graduates themselves. This suggestion is for staff to use that leave for their own commencement. It would require an amendment to the HOT policy, but HR might face challenges in considering this change due to state law constrictions or constraints, sorry. The committee will forward this suggestion to Human Resources and recommend that supervisors receive some sort of training on the benefits of their critical role in supporting employees' educational activities. The third submission is from also Mr. Lozano on behalf of another staff member regarding the possibility for HR to remind employees of their vacation leave accrual balance and the projected transfer to sick leave at the end of the fiscal year. This reminder would encourage employees to use their time off before the deadline to avoid losing it. So we want to remind, all the employees to check your leave balances regularly and report any discrepancies that you may see to HR leave. So we'll forward this feedback to HR and hopefully they can provide us a response. So we have 3 prior submissions that are pending updates from respective departments, but we did get 1 submission from Mr. Balderas. I think this was back in November or October of 2024, and we got a response back. So this submission from Mr. Balderas was regarding guidance on the possibility of allowing matching contributions on accounts of employees' qualified student loan payments as detailed in the Secure 2.0 Act of 2022. So the committee received a response from HR Benefits. The response is HR Benefits contacted a representative at the UT System Office of Employee Benefits, and they've advised that this is not something that UTRGV will adopt from Secure 2.0. So thank you all for the attention. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat the link to submit your feedback, and we appreciate the feedback that we've received so far. Next, I'll pass it on to Ms. Crystal Marroquin from the Staff Success Committee.
I think she is not here, but I'm on behalf of the Staff Success. I'm Leslie Orozco, and I'm the chair. I'm the co-chair for the Staff Success. For an update, it's that we're going to be meeting next week. So we're going to finalize with the last details for the Employee Appreciation Week. So pretty much what we're going to ask you is to be on the lookout for all the updates and the good news that we're going to share with you all. And I think Rolando is going to be giving you some updates about the Employee Appreciation Week as well. So I pass it out to.
Yes.
May
Okay. I will. Yeah, I will now move to open the floor for public comments and questions. Thank you.
So does anyone have any public comments or any questions they may have? This is the time to go ahead and share.
Yes, I have a question. What is the likelihood of UTRGV getting electric charging stations for vehicles?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know, Omar, have you had that question before?
Yeah, that's actually one of the feedback submissions that was submitted this fiscal year. We're still waiting a response from Parking and Transportation. We can go ahead and follow up with them to get your response, Ms. Guerra.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because I know that the governor had said that most universities are supposed to have electric charging stations. So considering the fact that a few of us here have electric vehicles, that would greatly help us.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Any events or
Hello.
anything that you want to promote? Okay, go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, hi again, everyone. Thank you for your patience. So, Staff Senate is very excited to share that during Employee Appreciation Week, we are going to have a door decorating contest, which is going to showcase your spirit or your department spirit, depending on what entry you submit under. And more details will be posted throughout the week, next week, and we're just really excited, right? We're excited to share our pride and to share our appreciation for each of you all, and for you all to showcase how proud you are to be a UTRGV Vaquero. And the rules and the timelines will all be shared online, so please make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where we'll be posting everything. Thank you.
Can everybody see my screen by any chance? Yes, awesome. So yeah, so what Jeremy alluded to is Employee Appreciation Week. We're happy to announce that as of March 1st through March 9th, that will be Employee Appreciation Week. There's going to be a lot of activities during the week. I know HR will be hosting a bingo event throughout the week, so keep a lookout for that. All information will be sent out next week. There's going to be an e-blast. So this Employee Appreciation Week is for all our full-time employees. We want to go ahead and thank you all for all your hard work and dedication to the university. And one more thing, the Employee Appreciation Breakfast. So Staff Senate is the host of this event. Can you see my screen still? Yes. Okay. So mark your calendars. So the Employee Appreciation Breakfast will be held on March 6th in Edinburgh and in McAllen from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Also, March 7th, that will be from Brownsville and Harlingen, again from 10 a.m. from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. While supplies last, of course, we'll have some departments there at the venues to give out free swag and some information. So we do hope that you attend Employee Appreciation Breakfast. Staff Senate this is our tradition that we do. It's sponsored by Staff Senate. We want to thank all our staff, all our employees, faculty and staff, that thank you for all your hard work and dedication to UTRGV. So it's a little thank you that we want to give back. Also, this question has come up quite a bit. Are students allowed at this event? As mentioned last meeting, student employees will have their own event in April. So they have their own week that they will can participate in. They will have their own activities, own snacks for our students. We love our students. They help us out a lot. Don't get me wrong, but this event is geared towards all our full-time faculty and staff. So we want to give this appreciation to them. So just keep that in mind. Again, Employee Appreciation Week is March 1st through the 9th. There's going to be a lot of giveaway and discounts going to be handed out during that week. So keep a lookout for all the information that is coming out next week. And we can't wait for this event to happen and can't wait to see you all during the Employee Appreciation Breakfast. So is there any questions or any comments? Go ahead and stop sharing. I'll go ahead and look into that about the swag for Harlingen. I know we'll see what we can do to increase that for y'all, the Harlingen campus. Yes, absolutely. If there's no more comments or questions. Okay, if there's any further public comments or questions, I will now move to make a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the Staff Senate General Meeting for the month of February.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any debate or discussion? All those in favor, please state aye in the team chat. All opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Adjourn the meeting at 10:28 a.m. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this Staff Senate meeting.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, Ricardo. I clicked on your to call you. Sorry. Didn't mean to make you panic.